Humans can survive wounds that should make survival impossible. I learned this 3 minutes after I ordered one killed. My name is Veyr. I was commander of the Kharuun Expeditionary Fleet. For 83 cycles, I had watched species collapse beneath our weapons. Cities burned. Continents cracked. Oceans boiled. Nothing had ever surprised me. Then we found the Human Outpost. It was alone. A small structure on a frozen moon at the edge of an unclaimed system. No fleet. No defense ring. No orbital weapons. Only one gray building buried beneath kilometers of ice. Our scanners detected 12 biological signatures. 12. I assumed they were minors. That was my first mistake. I ordered the fleet to surround the moon. The humans did not respond. We transmitted a surrender demand. Nothing. We repeated it. Still nothing. My officers became amused. I interpreted their silence as fear. That was my second mistake. Fire a warning shot. The cruiser beside us launched one plasma bolt. It struck the ice 3 kilometers from the outpost. The explosion shook the moon. Then the humans answered. Not with weapons. With a message. 3 words appeared on my command screen. You missed. Try again. The bridge became silent. I felt something inside my chest tighten. I did not understand why. We had conquered civilizations that possessed 10,000 warships. These creatures had 12 bodies. Yet they were mocking us. I concluded they were insane. That explanation comforted me. I ordered the attack. 47 ships descended through the atmosphere. The first wave fired everything. Plasma. Kinetic lances. Thermal charges. The moon disappeared beneath fire. For 11 seconds, our sensors showed nothing. Then the smoke cleared. The outpost remained. Not damaged. Not weakened. Untouched. My tactical officer stared at the display. I told him to recalibrate. He did. The result remained impossible. The structure had no shield, no automaton, no energy field. It was simply there. I finally understood the pattern. Humans were not trying to defend themselves. They were waiting. Waiting for what? I ordered ground forces to enter. 600 Kharuun soldiers descended through the clouds. They surrounded the building. The door opened. One human stepped outside. A female. Small. Thin. Wearing a black survival suit. She carried no visible weapon. My soldiers raised rifles. The human looked at them. Then she smiled. I recorded that moment. I believed the smile meant surrender. It did not. The human pointed behind them. My soldiers turned. Nothing was there. They looked back. The human had vanished. 3 seconds later, our entire forward unit stopped transmitting. 600 soldiers. Gone. Not dead. Gone. Their life signals vanished simultaneously. My tactical officer began shaking. I ordered him to locate them. He whispered that they were beneath us. Beneath the ice. I thought the humans had built tunnels. That seemed logical. I was wrong again. The ground opened. Not from an explosion. From pressure. The ice beneath our landing zone collapsed inward. Entire dropships disappeared. Hundreds of soldiers fell into darkness. Then the human appeared on my screen again. She stood beside a burning transport. Blood covered one side of her face. Her left arm hung uselessly. Yet she was smiling. She looked directly into the camera and raised one finger. Not toward us. Toward the sky. I looked upward. Our orbital fleet had begun firing again. Thousands of weapons struck the moon. The surface became a storm of fire. I expected the outpost to vanish. Instead, something moved beneath it. Something enormous. My sensor screamed. A structure emerged from the ice. It was not a building. It was a weapon. A weapon larger than our flagship. It rose silently. Black metal. No heat signature. No engine plume. No detectable energy source. My officers froze. I ordered every ship to destroy it. The fleet fired. Nothing happened. The weapon continued rising. Then every human transmission on the moon activated at once. 12 voices. Walbomans. Speaking together. We warned you. The weapon opened. There was no explosion. No beam. No flash. Space simply bent. Our fleet vanished from my tactical display. Every ship. Every soldier. Every missile. Gone. I thought the humans had destroyed us. That was my fourth mistake. They had not attacked our fleet. They had sent something through it. Something my species had no word for. A signal. A pulse. A command. Our remaining ships suddenly changed course. Not by our orders. They turned toward Kharuun, toward our home planet. I screamed for the navigation system to shut down. It ignored me. One by one, our engines activated. The remaining vessels jumped into hyperspace. I tried everything. Manual override. Emergency shutdown. System isolation. Nothing worked. Then the human commander appeared on my screen. Her injured arm was still hanging at her side. Blood continued running down her face. She looked almost tired. Not angry. Not victorious. Tired. I asked what she had done. She answered with only one sentence. You came here because you thought we were alone. The transmission ended. My fleet entered hyperspace. Kharuun was waiting at the other end. And for the first time in my long command, I understood something terrifying. The humans had never been defending the outpost. They had been protecting something far more dangerous. Something they had just decided to bring home. I looked at the countdown. 9 minutes until we reached Kharuun. 8 minutes. 7. And somewhere behind us, 12 humans remained on a frozen moon. I still believed they had won. I did not yet understand that they had only begun. Kharuun was not being attacked. It was being returned. I understood the difference when our fleet exited hyperspace. My homeworld filled the viewport. Blue oceans. Silver cities. 3 moons. Billions of lights. Everything was exactly as I remembered. Then the lights began disappearing. One city. Then another. Then an entire continent. No explosions appeared. No weapons fired. The cities simply became dark. My navigation officer screamed that something was inside the planetary network. I ordered him to disconnect every system. He tried. The planet disconnected itself first. Our fleet lost communication with Kharuun. Then our weapons. Then our engines. We were trapped in orbit above our own world. I stared at the planet. I expected humans. Ships. Missiles. An invasion fleet. There was nothing. That frightened me more. I had spent my life believing attacks required weapons. Humans had taught me otherwise. A signal appeared on every bridge. 3 words. You missed again. My officers looked at me. I had no answer. Then the planet shook. Not from outside. From beneath. The oceans rose into impossible walls. The crust fractured in perfect circles. Across Kharuun, ancient defense bunkers opened. Our civilization had built them during the First War. They had never been activated. Now every one of them was opening. Something was coming out. Not human machines. Our own machines. Thousands of dormant weapons. They turned toward our cities. I realized the truth. The humans had not brought a weapon to Kharuun. They had brought our weapons back to us. They had infected our planetary command system during the first attack. But why? Why destroy us with our own hands? I searched the recordings from the moon. Then I saw something I had missed. The human commander had not been standing beside a weapon. She had been standing beside a wounded soldier. A human. Male. Barely alive. His body was covered in burns. His chest was crushed. Yet his hand was moving. He was typing. Slowly, one finger at a time, I enlarged the image. He was entering coordinates, not for a weapon, for our planet. I finally understood their pattern. Humans did not become stronger when wounded. They became more focused. We had mistaken pain for weakness. We had mistaken silence for surrender. We had mistaken mercy for fear. And now I made my final mistake. I ordered our fleet to fire on Kharuun. Every surviving ship obeyed. Thousands of weapons descended. Then something happened that no calculation could explain. The missiles stopped. Not intercepted. Not destroyed. Stopped. Frozen in space. Every projectile hung above the planet. Then they turned. All of them. Toward us. My officers began screaming. I did not. I finally understood what the humans had been doing. They had not attacked our planet. They had taught our planet how to attack us. The missiles fired. The sky became white. Our fleet disappeared. I survived because my ship had been damaged during the first assault. The damage had disabled our weapons. It had also disabled our navigation. For the first time in my life, failure saved me. My ship drifted beyond the blast zone. I watched Kharuun burn. The planet did not explode. That would have been easier. Instead, the surface began collapsing inward. Continents folded. Oceans drained into enormous cracks. Cities vanished beneath the crust. The atmosphere turned black. Then the core began to glow. I knew what was happening. The humans had found the ancient planetary mining network beneath Kharuun. They had activated every geothermal extraction system at once. The planet was being forced to consume itself. My homeworld was dying from the inside. I expected another message. A warning. A threat. A victory statement. Nothing came. Only silence. Then my damaged receiver detected one final transmission. The human commander. She was back on the frozen moon. Still alive. Still injured. Behind her stood the other 11 humans. No celebration. No cheating. They simply watched. I asked why. Why destroy billions for one outpost? Her answer was quiet. You attacked 12 people. She paused. You should have stopped there. The transmission ended. Kharuun cracked apart. The planet became a cloud of burning debris. My species disappeared with it. I drifted alone through the dark. For days, I waited for death. Instead, a human rescue signal found me. I thought it was another weapon. It was not. They pulled my ship toward their outpost. The same outpost. The same 12 humans. The same frozen moon. When I woke, I was inside their medical chamber. The human commander stood beside me. Her arm was still broken. She had never treated it. I asked why. She looked at her arm. Then at me. I forgot. I believed that was another human weakness. I was wrong. Weeks later, I learned the truth. Humans do not forget pain. They remember it. They simply decide it is less important than the next task. That was the thing my species never understood. We survive by avoiding danger. Humans survive by moving through it. We feared death. They feared leaving someone behind. We surrendered when victory became impossible. They became most dangerous when victory became impossible. And the 12 humans on that moon, they were not soldiers. They were engineers, researchers, medics, families. The weapon beneath their outpost had not been built for war. It was an emergency system designed to protect them from something much worse. Something the humans had discovered beyond the edge of known space. Something they had never told us about. Because after Kharuun vanished, the commander showed me the real star map. There were thousands of red marks, thousands of planets, thousands of dead civilizations, all connected to one direction, toward the same region of space. I asked what had destroyed them. She looked at me for a long time. Then she answered. Not what. Who? I felt the old fear return. What are humans afraid of? She finally looked away. Nothing. That answer terrified me, because I finally understood the opening truth. Humans could survive wounds that should make survival impossible. But that was not their greatest ability. Their greatest ability was surviving long enough to become the thing everyone else should have feared. And somewhere beyond the stars, something had just noticed humanity. For the first time, I felt sorry for it. Because Kharuun was not the warning. Kharuun was proof. Humans did not erase planets because they were cruel. They erased them because something had survived there. And humans had learned one terrible rule long before we met them. Sometimes the only way to save the galaxy is to make sure the enemy never gets a second chance. If you enjoyed this HFY sci-fi story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon. Because next time, we'll discover what the real threat is, the one thing even humanity may not be prepared to face.